This morning we're going to make our Splendid Speedy sponge. It literally can take minutes to put it in the oven, get it going. Once you've got it out, you've only got to fill it with jam and then it's ready to serve warm. Wincy's on her day off today as it's a Saturday, so I'm afraid she's not going to be helping us in the kitchen this morning. Main ingredients: you'll need self-raising flour, caster sugar or any sugar. Brown sugar can work, it just makes it slightly more sort of caramelised sponge. Butter, you can use unsalted butter, packs of butter. It doesn't have to be stalk or spreadable butter. It can be literally anything you can buy at the moment. 3 eggs. Again, if you don't want to use 3 eggs, you can sort of use milk and a bit of water to make up the mixture if you only want to use 2 eggs. Baking powder, vanilla extract. If you don't have vanilla extract, it's not essential. It just helps to flavour the cake. And strawberry jam, raspberry jam. You could use lemon curd. Anything that you want to use as your filling. Preheat the oven to 170 degrees if you've got a fan oven. Butter and flour your baking tin. It depends obviously on what size you want to use. This is a 6.5 inch tin for the cake that we're making. Whether you use a bigger or smaller, you'll just have either a chunkier or a more shallow sponge. Firstly, we're going to measure out 6 ounces of caster sugar, or the sugar you're using. Then you want 6 ounces of butter. We're going to add the butter and the sugar to a bowl and mix until nice and light and fluffy. Then we want to crack your 3 eggs into a bowl. And then whisk. Now we'll measure out 6 ounces of flour. And to that we're going to add a teaspoon of baking powder. Then I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract to the egg mixture. Next, we make a well in the centre of the butter and sugar mixture and add half of the egg and half of the flour through a sieve. And we're going to mix that until really well combined and there's no lumps. Repeat that process again, making a well in the centre, adding the other half of your egg and the other half of your flour. And give that a really good mix until everything's really well combined and there's nothing left on the sides of the bowls. Now we're going to just pour the cake mix into the tin. You can use a spatula or a spoon to scrape all these bits out. Give it a bit of a tap just to level it out. We're now going to pop that in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. Once that time's up, then you can poke a skewer or a knife into the top of the cake and make sure that it comes out clean, and that means your cake is done. Remove the cake from the tin. Allow it to cool for 5 to 10 minutes before we're going to cut the cake in half. Once you've cut your cake in half, we're now going to add a tablespoon of strawberry jam or raspberry jam or the lemon curd into the centre of the cake. And we're going to spread using the back of the spoon, or you could use a knife if you find it easier. Then we're going to lift the top of the cake back on, and if you want to, we're going to add some icing sugar on top of the cake just as a bit of a sprinkle, and just literally sprinkle it over the top, and it just finishes it off nicely.